Good morning, ladies. Hopefully fourth time's a charm. I've had some technical issues and I am quite frustrated, but I'm going with it today and it's going to work. So these are the projects that we would have done in our club meetings. And of course, because we're in extreme risk, we can't meet, and that's very sad. And I'm hoping that that will change for February and on. But anyway, let's get started. As you know, we are in Sale-A-Bration, and if you didn't get a catalog in the mail, which you should have, let me know because I'll be happy to send you them. And of course, with the new mini catalog, with Sale-A-Bration, you get $50 for every, you get a free item for every $50 that you spend. And then if you spend 100, there's some items too. So in this catalog, you have the Paper Blooms Designer Series paper, which is absolutely gorgeous. Darling Donkeys. You don't want to miss out on that one. Isn't that just cute? Hee-haw, you're the best. Hey there, friend, it's your birthday. Those darling little donkeys. You can get the Approaching Perfection, which is a wonderful sentiment. The Oh So Ombre, which has been very, very popular and is beautiful. The Corner Bouquet. Heal Your Heart. Flower and Field Designer Series paper. Those are for $50 purchase, and if you order 100, then you get this A Touch of Ink, which is gorgeous, has some beautiful saying sentiments. And then you can also get the Berry Blessings stamp set with the Berry Delightful Designer Series paper, which is absolutely gorgeous. So that's for Sale-A-Bration. And because of that, I decided for my hostess gifts, I would use the Flower and Field Designer Series paper. So I made our hostesses 4 cards, and I made them a little box. And the 4 cards, I'm actually using the Flowers for Every Season, Memories and More cards and envelopes. And these are in the in colors, Cinnamon Cider, Bumblebee, Just Jaded, Misty Moonlight. And I just, it comes with this dotted around here, and I just added some of the paper, what quick cards it is. And then I used the it's called Punch Pack, which is a stamp set that you can get if you host a $300 party. And, you know, we can always do that virtually. And, but I used those sentiments in there. And so it's just, they're really nice cards. And they come with coordinated envelopes. And so that is the hostess set that the hostesses will receive this month. To start out with, I'm going to do one demo, and then I'm going to do the 2 projects, and then I'm going to finish with a demo because the last demo we do is kind of messy. So I don't really want to mess my paper up here to start out with. So I'm going to show you the new blending brushes. These are fabulous. I honestly am really impressed with them. They're very, very soft. The bristles are very soft. You don't have to buy one for every color. You can use them interchangeably with the same color shades. So this one I'm using for my blues. I've used Bermuda Bay, Pacific Point, Coastal Cabana. I could probably use Night of Navy. This I'm going to use for my neutrals. This one I'm using for Crumb Cake. And so I'm going to show you today how to use those. I started out, I used them first with this card. I made this card for a swap. And this is the Floral Art Gallery suite. And I wanted the flower to be quite, well, I just wanted to play with it, you might say. So I took this flower and I took a piece of white and I blended Fleur de Flamingo in the background. And then I stamped it with Fleur de Flamingo and Mary Merlot. And so then I tested how the different flowers, now they're all pretty, I have to say that. But this one I used the white, and I just didn't care for the white. It was a little too stark. And then this one I did tone on tone. I did Fleur de Flamingo paper, cardstock, and then stamped Fleur de Flamingo. And I didn't care for it at all. But I loved how I was able to make a real soft background, and then I just stamped and cut it out. So that's one of my samples. The other sample I have is using the Oh So Succulent and the Potted Succulent dies. I took this die, I made cut out one. This is the one I cut out. And then I stuck that over this piece over a piece of white, and I blended. And then I had 2 pieces that I could make 2 cards from. So that was pretty fun and clever, I thought. But the one that I'm going to show you today is this one. And it's actually, I love this part, and I'll show you that. But it's the background that I'm going to show you today is this. I've got the crumb cake, the Coastal Cabana, and the Pacific Point showing you all the different looks at the beach. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, this is sand and sea. It's called Friends Are Like Seashells. And then it comes in that suite. There is the pearlescent paper. It is absolutely beautiful. This is the pearlescent paper. So I cut it out with the die, and I had the die here 2 seconds ago. Of course, I can't find it when I want it. But anyway, I cut this out with the die, and then I ran it through with the seashells embossing folder. So you just put this in here, line it up, run it through, and you come out with these beautiful seashells. It's something you just have to have. I think the die, well, it's not. Anyway, so I'm going to show you how to do that blending. So I'm taking a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and the one thing you want to remember is that you want to start off the page, because otherwise you kind of left with blobs. You can be left with blobs, and you don't really like. I don't really like that. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to use my crumb cake first. So I'm just inking up my blending brush, and then I'm going to daub it, and then I'm just going to start off the page and then start blending it onto the page. So blob it off and then just start blending. And the interesting thing I found about this crumb cake is when it looks kind of almost green when I first put it on, but when it dries, the real nice crumb cakey look. Crumb cakey look, that's a new term. So you can do it as much as you want or as little as you want, and just blend it around in circles, straight, however you want it. But be sure and blob it before you get it. And you'll see that especially when I get to the darker color, because it does leave quite and you don't want that blobby look. So here's my crumb cake, and I think that's pretty good. I'll just leave it right there. And so now my next color is going to be Coastal Cabana. And it looks like it disappeared. As usual, things disappear with me. So I'll have to get my other one. Hang on. Here we go. So now I'm going to be using this brush, and I've already used it for a lot of other colors. And when you get done, all you have to do is just tab it on your paper, and it just goes away. You also can wash these. You can wash them in water, wash them with warm soapy water, but when you be sure, and when you dry them, to dry them bristle side down, because the water will go out then, but they need to be completely dry before you use them again. So I'm going to just start blending this together, and I blend down into the crumb cake so that they'll all be together really well. And I think I've about got it. I kind of like that. See how that blends so well? Much easier than a sponge, I'll tell you. And then my next color is going to be Pacific Point, and I'm going to turn that around, and we're going to use the Pacific Point. Now I'm just doing like that, getting my Coastal Cabana off. Now this is the one that you want to make sure you don't do too much. You want to blob it first. Now I'm getting some, and I'll just fill in that center part. So we've got a really good blend there. and then kind of blend it together with the Coastal Cabana. And you can make it as dark or as light as you want. It dries darker. I like that. I like that really well. So, there we go. Now see how the crumb cake has turned sandy looking? So, now I'm going to put the card together and show you this card. I've made a few of them in my travels this week. So all of the kits, all of the projects that we will be doing, if you want the kits, please let me know. I'm going to be cutting this week, and I will cut kits, or I'm going to go ahead and make up the cards for you. So I'm attaching that to Coastal Cabana, and then I'm going to attach it to my Pacific Point base, card base. And that will go right here. And then I'm going to put my beautiful seashells, and I've added dimensionals to this so that it will pop up, and this is the longest part of it, is taking off the top of the dimensionals. And then we'll have a little greeting. One more. Nope, that one's already done. So this will go on top here. And then I have this greeting that says, "Happy birthday to my beautiful friend," which is from this Friends Like Seashells. Friends Are Like Seashells. And there's a new treasured tags punch. And I've cut this 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to pull that through, push that through. And if you're wondering how to use these new punches, after I push it in all the way, then I go in and line it up and make sure it's well lined up on the back. See, you can see I've got it well lined up. Get that centered. And then just punch. And I've got a nice little end there, flagged end. And I'm going to add that with dimensionals also. For one thing, it holds it sturdy, and for another thing, it gives it dimension, which I like, obviously. And get that off, and then we'll just put this right here. I want those seashells showing. Seashells showing. Say that fast. There we go. I love that card. So that's our first demonstration. And now the next card we're going to make is a Valentine card, because it's Valentine's. So the first card that we would be making in class is a Valentine card. And this is the one, and I'm using the Always in My Heart bundle and the Floral Hearts dies and the Love You Always specialty paper and the Love You Always foil sheets. Isn't this gorgeous? So I'm going to show you how to make this card. So the first thing we're going to do is I cut out using the foil sheets, and this is Blushing Bride. I cut out this heart, and then I cut out another one using the specialty paper, and this will go in the center. And so I'm starting with Sahara Sand card base, and I used some Blushing Bride, and I ran it through the Dainty Diamonds embossing folder. And so I'm going to apply that to the front of the card. And then I have a piece of the specialty paper, and that is going to go here, but we're going to wrap this beautiful Blushing Bride blingy ribbon around it. And this is, of course, on camera. You know how it goes on camera. You can't, you all fumbles when you're trying to tie a ribbon. So let's see if I can do it without a lot of hassle. So I'm going to tie this here, just in a knot. And then that will go around. And, perfect. I love it when it goes easy. And maybe we'll I'm going to leave that because that's pretty. And then we'll bring this down over and down just a tad. Okay, and apply this to the front. And that will go right here. And then we'll add our beautiful Valentine, scrolly Valentine I call it. I put some mini glue dots on the back to hold it down. And then it will be popped up, and then the Valentine in the center will be recessed. So that'll be a neat look. Yep, this is the longest part. Just taking off the backing on the dimensionals. And that will go right here. And then we'll put some adhesive here, and I will put that down in there, and it will be recessed. And then the only thing we need to do now is to put on our banner, and I'm going to stamp Be My Valentine in Blushing Bride on this banner. And there's also a beautiful Happy Valentine's on this one. So, I mean, not Happy Valentine's, Happy Anniversary. So, this would be a beautiful anniversary card too. And then these fold back, and I'll burnish those. So then you have this gorgeous banner. And again, I'm going to put some mini dimensionals on this to hold it down. And then the last little thing we'll do is add a couple of little hearts to the banner. And so this goes here. And then we'll just put a couple of little hearts. I swear they were out there 2 seconds ago, but they're not now. But I've got a couple more. So one right here, and oh, it never fails. When you're on camera, everything disappears, and I can't find the other heart. But anyway, this is what it's going to look like, and I'll find that later and add that. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's one of the cards that we would have done in class. And I will make sure that you get the card. And if you would like the kit, let me know. Our next card that we would have done in class is using the Hydrangea Haven bundle. Truthfully, this is my favorite. I love purple, and so this is right up my alley. This is a Joyful card. It's a fun card that you just open up and put your sentiment in there. There's a little thank you you can stamp in there, or any other thing you want. And again, I will have all the measurements for this on my in the document when I send you the document with the video. So we start with a piece of Highland Heather that is 8 1/4 by 4 1/4, and this is the Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper, and that will go right in there. Goes right there. And then we've got 2 of these which have the hydrangeas on them, and one is going to go here and one is going to go here. I love this Joy folder. It's a fun fold. It's different, and it can be used for any paper you have. Any. I mean, it's I've made a lot of these, and it's really cool. Okay, then we have this piece is 8 inches by 3 inches and scored at 4 inches. And this is the joy fold part of it. So this piece, look at this paper on the back. Isn't that gorgeous? But I'm using this one today. And this will go on the front. And then this is a piece of Whisper White for the inside where you would put the sentiment. And that will go in here. And then to put this on, I added adhesive on all 4 sides because I want it to stick well. And this will go in, and so you put it in, don't put it down yet, just line it up really good, lay it down flat, and then give it a good burnish, and that way it'll stay. And then I'm going to put this little, I appreciate all the little things you do from the Hydrangea Haven stamp set, and this is one of the new punches in the catalog. It's called it's ovals, and it comes with, you can punch both of these with the same punch. And of course we have to use some bling, and these pastel pearls are wonderful. They are so beautiful. They're in Gorgeous Grape, Seaside Spray, Rococo Rose, and Blushing Bride. So I'm going to use the Gorgeous Grape ones. Add that there, and then one more down here in the corner. And then last but not least is the gorgeous 3/8 inch Gorgeous Grape sheer ribbon. This ribbon is easy to work with and beautiful, adds a beautiful touch. So I'm gonna cut it off and add a mini glue dot, and that goes right up in the corner. Is that quick and simple? Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so now we come to the fun part of the messy part. I wanted to show you how to use the gilded leafing. And if you haven't seen that in the catalog, it's with the floral art. In the mini catalog, it's with the floral art suite. And it gives a really cool gold. Let me show you where it is in the catalog. It's right here on page 33. And that's the gold leafing right there. So a few tips about the gold leafing. First of all, it comes in a little pot, and you'll probably want to take it out of that because it's, you can't really work with it too well. So I bought these little containers, and here's my, and see it? It's just really thin and makes a mess, but what fun. So I'm going to show you a sample I made, and then I'll show you the card that we're going to make. So the card, the sample, well, this is the card that we're going to make. And this is the fine art floral suite and the stamp set. And what I did was I stamped, this is a 2-step stamp. So I stamped the flower in Coastal Cabana, and then I stamped this for the second stamp. I stamped in Versamark, used heat and stick powder, and then heated it just so it's tacky. And then I took these little things and put them on, and they stuck. And then you just brush them off. So I thought that was really pretty. And here's another one. This one is, I just used tear and tape, and I put the tear and tape, took off the topping, patted all the stuff down there, and just wiped it off. So very, very clever, very cool. Not clever to me, but I mean, I saw it done. You can use any adhesive. You could use the multi-purpose glue, the green glue. You could use that. You could, but you have to let it sit so that it dries. And then it dries tacky, and then you can add your gold leafing to it. So you could make dots, you could make, you know, whatever you want. squirrelies, anything. Lots of ideas for that. You can use glue dots. Put down a glue dot, put your leafing over it. You could have a row of dots. Tear and tape, adhesive sheets, foam adhesive sheets, which are popped up. You can use the masks in the catalog, and then the Versamark, and heat and stick. And so I'm going to show you the Versamark heat and stick. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this flower. Now, the reason I'm going to show you that, and I want to go from beginning to end, and I'm going to show you something else new. So, so here is the stamp, and I'm going to use my Coastal Cabana, and this is the first step of the stamp. So I'm going to use my Coastal Cabana and stamp it. And then my next step is this. This is the next stamp. So I'm going to use my Versamark and get a good, and then it's pretty forgiving. It's like a watercolor, so it's pretty forgiving. And you can't really see it, but it's there. The Versamark is there. And then we're going to use our heat and stick. This is the heat and stick powder. And I'm just going to, now when I put this on, it'll look opaque. See, you can see that it looks opaque. You can actually see it. And then I'm going to take my heat tool. But before I take my heat tool, I'm going to close this up. And I'm going to close this up, because if it were to blow on it, it would get it all over. So now you can, I'll show you how this heat and stick works. Let it heat up a bit, and then all you have to do is, and as soon as it stops looking opaque, then you're done, and then it will be tacky. Okay, that's it. And then we're going to take our gold leafing, and I'm just going to take some pieces, and I'm going to lay it down and then press it in so it will stick to that heat and stick. You just use your fingers and make sure you get it all over. You can use as much or a little as you want, and then you just wipe it off. And so then I put it back in here, and I have this little, I just used a paintbrush I had sitting around, and just give it a good wipe. And I'll scrunch it and get all of the excess off. And that goes right back into your tin to use for next time, or your container. Now I have a mess here, so I'm gonna see if I can get this all up. Even my breath is sending it flying. I'll get the worst of it and then get the rest of it later. So, isn't that gorgeous? It gives it a beautiful, beautiful accent. So the next thing I'm going to show you is our new little cut and emboss machine. This is the mini cut and emboss machine. It's now available to order, and it is so cute. You'll love it. Okay, so it comes with the plates, all the plates you need. This is the base plate. That's number one. And then we have 2 of the acrylics. The one tip I've learned is that you don't want to line these up perfectly and send it through. It might not catch them. So you want to kind of stagger them just a tiny bit. Just stagger them a little bit. And so I'm going to put that down and the acrylic, and then I'm going to stick that on there. And then I'm going to grab my die to cut the flower. Oops, wrong flower. And that goes right here. And if you're uncomfortable, you could put a little piece of washi tape on it to hold it down, but I'm okay with it. I think it'll be fine. And then put this one in here and run it through. Isn't that cute? So little, so tiny. I can't wait to bring it to class and show you how it works. So there's the flower. And then I'm going to stamp the leaf. Let's move this out for a second. I'm going to stamp the leaf on this piece, and I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. And one thing when you're using the gilded leaving, be sure your stamp pads are all closed, because they will get the leafing on it. That's not fun. So now I'm going to cut this out, and I'll show you again with my little machine. I'm going to keep it right at my desk. Have it handy. So we put this in. Go back a little so maybe you can see better. And man, my fingers are shaking. Stick that in and run it through. I wanted to show you this because it's so stinking cute. Okay, we're done with the machine now. And this is the leaf that I'm going to put on under my flower. So I'm using the Thick Whisper White and as my card base, and then I use the Ornate Frames dies and cut out this pretty frame. And the flower is going to go here with this underneath it. And then I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday in the Coastal Cabana. I think I want Coastal Cabana. So I'm going to stamp this first here. And then I'll add some dimensionals on the back of the flower itself, and then the leaf will go on flat. So we'll put the flower right there, and then add a little bit of that, and that will go right there. And there you have it. Oh, I guess I better put this down, don't I? Shouldn't I? Oh, and I added a little piece of ribbon. I used the crinkle white ribbon for a bow. Let's shut that up. I know what'll happen. I'll get everything all dirty. So I'm tying a little tiny bow. This crinkle bright ribbon, you know, you can use your blends or run it through your ink pad and make any color you want, and it's actually very, very pretty. And we'll take the scissors and trim that off. This needs to be a little smaller. And the glue dot. Stick that right there. There we go. There's the card. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this. It has been a lesson in how to do videos this week. I don't know, for some reason, it just hasn't been a good week for me. So, anyway, for Portland, if you have your order to me by Saturday, and for Prineville on the 28th next Thursday, and let me know if you would like the kits or the completed cards. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.